you, Mark, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us. We come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on. Ukrainian drones have sparked a fire at an oil depot in the Russian city of Sochi. The regional governor reports over 120 firefighters working to contain the blaze, which has engulfed a fuel tank with a capacity of 2,000 cubic meters. The attack is the latest in a series of Ukrainian strikes on Russian infrastructure, which Kyiv deems vital to Moscow's military efforts. Meanwhile, in Russia's Voronezh region, a Ukrainian drone strike has injured one woman and caused multiple fires, including at several homes and utility buildings. Russian air defense says it destroyed around 15 drones in the region, though authorities warn of further threats. The escalating drone strikes have intensified concerns for civilian safety on both sides of the border. And in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv came under Russian missile fire overnight, shaking the city after midnight. The conflict rages on, with both nations continuing to deny targeting civilians. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Mark Sutherland. He's a geopolitical analyst, joins us live from London. Thank you, Mark, for staying with us. Now, this continuing Russian missile fire on Kyiv and vice versa. So how sustainable is this cycle of retaliation in terms of military strategy and civilian safety?
Again, as we always comment on this, it's extremely alarming, and very often, of course, it's very easy for us to comment on this from our safe comfort of where we are and not in that region. But Ukraine now, as these attacks that have just happened within, as you said, within this oil refinery and on other plants, other military backing plants within Russia, including other tech. This is again is very important, because the Ukrainians are turning around and saying, look, you are firing at us. We've just in the last, I think, 48 hours, where Russia was then firing, as they have said, into civilian areas. They are then trying to take out the infrastructure in regard to their military industrial complex. That is, in the Ukrainian words, obviously, is then attacking them. That is what they are then doing. And as you quite rightly say, this tit for tat is continuing. Ukraine's now, as they have done in the past, are now beginning to really target that infrastructure. There's also a concern, I mean, my own sort of reading on this and others, is that as soon as Russia went into Ukraine and invaded, there was a nuclear plant that they then took over. At the moment, that is in, I believe, in safety in regard to the cooling, keeping that all cool within that plant, which they need power to continue to do. So that in the future could then be a concern, because the last thing we want is a nuclear accident on any level. So if you want to defeat your enemy, you are then going to go for the infrastructure, for the military industrial complex that the enemy then uses to be able to then fight their war. So that is what is going on at this moment. And of course, Ukraine, understandably, were not very best pleased when more and more drones were going into civilian areas, which just shows you how technology has then moved forward, and how wars are now being fought by drone swarms. This is not the subject of films and imagination. We are now seeing that on the ground. Yes. In real life.
Yes, indeed. Mark, thank you for sharing that. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we stay in the region. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky revealed